Today we're looking at 10 luxury cars you can buy for under £3,000. Let's get straight into it. The Volvo XC90 is named a mid-size luxury SUV, but that understates the size. These are pretty massive, and that size reflects onto the interior, making this one of the more underrated older luxury SUVs you can get into, and a serious competitor to its contemporary Land Rover equivalent, especially if you like a bit of Swedish minimalism. Premium practicality is at this car's core, so much so that even Jeremy Clarkson ended up having 3 of them, simply due to that practicality factor, despite previously giving the brand some stick for its slightly more boring image. These come with a 2.4 litre turbocharged inline-5 engine making 197 brake horsepower, taking them to 60 in 10 seconds, which is pretty slow, but at least they're also super safe, as they were literally given an industry award for how safe they were. These are listed anywhere from around $2,000, and for 3K we'll be looking at a 2006 model with high mileage. Diesel injector failures are known on these, and faulty timing belt tensioners and pulleys can lead to catastrophic failures. The automatic gearbox also wasn't known to be particularly good on high mileage models. I've got a rogue one for you up next, the Skoda Yeti, Laurin and Klement. I've mentioned the superb LNK in previous videos, and I'd like to get the Kodiaq LNK into a video some other time, but within our price range the Yeti LNK might be among the most luxurious VW Group cars you can buy. It gives MPV vibes, but it actually is a compact crossover SUV, and it's supposed to be cheap and cheerful. Just the Laurin and Klement spec makes it all the little bit more luxurious and premium, with the lovely leather interior and the likes, which I've mentioned before is sourced from the same suppliers as Bentley. They come with that diesel 2 litre turbocharged inline 4 block that makes 147 brake horsepower, taking them to 60 in 8.8 seconds. Again, not quick, but that's not what this car's about. They start at around our 3K limit sadly, and for that money you get a 2013 model that's done pretty high mileage. Excessive oil consumption, turbo failures and overheating were known on these, as well as the usual DPF problems on models that haven't been driven on longer journeys much. The first generation Porsche Cayenne is often overlooked as a bit of an old barge now, but Porsche owe a lot to it, as it dug them out of massive amounts of debt by picking up on a whole new market, people that already had Porsches and other sports cars but needed SUVs. Those owners still needed the same level of Porsche excellence, and by that I mean handling, premium quality and comfort. Hence this luxury SUV wasn't just a money-making scam, it ended up spawning the ongoing generations of Cayennes, Macans, Panameras and all the other more practical Porsches. It's got a pretty rogue engine, a 3.2 litre VR6 block that makes 250 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 8.8 seconds. You'll find them starting anywhere from around £2,500, and 3K will get your 2006 example with 100,000 miles on it. Plastic coolant pipe failures are known, which can lead to leaks and engine overheating, plus owners note electrical problems caused by clogged drainage holes and water ingress. There are also known issues with the interior plastics going and fuel pumps as well. I think the Citroen C6 CDI is a super cool car, and genuinely for those in the know it's a bit of a head turner. A plethora of bespoke parts like the concave rear window, a more futuristic design language, and a car that really harks back to the golden era of Citroen making unique French executive cars. It's so much more interesting than the majority of people will realise. The interior in particular is insanely cool, especially up front. I genuinely believe the perfect examples of these will be well-loved classics one day. These come with a 2.7 litre turbocharged V6 engine, putting out 208 brake horsepower, taking them to 60 in 8.6 seconds. £2,000 is the lowest that I could find these listed for, and 3K is enough for a 2007 model that's done pretty high mileage. Owners on forums talk about coolant hoses cracking, power steering leaks, glowing plug failure, and turbo issues due to failing vacuum valves. The 2.7 is particularly known for oil dilution with diesel, potentially leading to catastrophic failures. Other common issues include failing boot seals, faulty electronics like cruise control, and other complex issues with the suspension system that can be expensive and hassle to fix. I'm not a big Range Rover fan, but I'll be the first to admit that an autobiography is a lovely car. You're unlikely to get one for our sub 3K price though sadly, but you will get into a more standard Vogue, which is actually the top tier L322 spec until the more limited Vogue SE, Westminster and autobiography specs were released. That means the broad array of more premium leather and other materials was mostly available in the Vogue, so outside of fun features like the media pack, it wasn't far off the autobiography. Even the one built to look after VIPs was built in Vogue spec, the Armoured Vogue, which had blast protection all around and other special features to get out of sticky situations. These get a 3.6 litre V8 block which makes 268 brake horsepower, getting it to 60 in 8.6 seconds. If you want, we need to spend around £2,000, and within our 3K price range we're looking at a 2008 example that's done pretty high mileage. Of course, these old barges are known for issues including oil leaks from the valve covers and the oil oil cooler, split intercooler hoses, EGR valve problems, and potential turbocharger failure. Air suspension is also a key source of trouble for owners. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are, then do hit like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And in the comments down below, what is the lowest amount of money you personally would spend on a luxury car, knowing that obviously buying something super cheap could have its problems? Love to hear your thoughts. The X350 Jaguar XJ gets better looking every year, as though it's the type of car that looks super old super quick. With its classic design both outside and in, those looks are aging like a fine wine in my opinion anyway. The interior in particular is like a step back in time to a regal British living room. I feel like I need a pipe and smoking jacket to really appreciate driving one. And as it's a full-size luxury car, try to get one of the more luxurious specs like the Sovereign, which came with effectively what you'd get in the following generation's autobiography, like the media package in the rear, passenger aircon controls, and even a little almost office setup to get some work done in the back. These got a 3-litre V6 engine that makes 240 brake horsepower, taking to 60 in 7.8 seconds, and they're listed anywhere from around 1.25k, and for $3,000 you're looking at a 2007 model with 85,000 miles on the clock. Oil leaks, suspension issues, oxygen sensor failures, and swelling radiators are known on these, but actually forums seem to be quite positive about the 3-litre V6 examples in particular. From one full-size luxury contender to another, it's the BMW 730D from the E65 generation. This car was meant to be BMW's answer to the S-Class, a proper luxury saloon filled with the best tech BMW had to offer at the time. Though early doors, the critics didn't care about the tech, they cared about the bangle butt. That booted design caused some differences in opinion, but now I think they've done a pretty good job of making the car feel more modern longer term, especially in a more conservative spec. Having been in one, they feel really solid. The doors are thick and strong, they're comfortable in the rear, the ride is smooth, they deliver on the promise of a chilled out luxury experience for passengers. They come with a 3-litre turbocharged inline-6 engine, making 227 brake horsepower, taking them to 60 in 7.6 seconds. They start at around $2,000, and for our 3k limit you'll get yourself a 2006 model that's done around 100,000 miles. Forums can be quite aggressive to read when it comes to the 7 Series more broadly, and the 730D does have a fair few issues noted by owners, including most notably with the turbos, cooling system, swell flaps, and battery drain. Taking third on this list is one of the main competitors to that 7 Series, the D3 Audi A8. This car was built on the same platform and shares many of the same parts with the Bentley Continental Flying Spur and the VW Phaeton, two of VW Group's best luxury offerings at the time, and two cars that are quite difficult to get into within our price range. Quite surprising for one of those cars. I think from this list it's one of the better looking cars, but it's the tech that you should care about, as this car had a bunch of innovations not previously seen in production cars before, like the fiber optic data networks and adaptive front lighting. It came with a 3-litre turbo diesel V6 that makes 229 brake horsepower, getting it to 60 in 7.6 seconds. You'll find them starting anywhere from around 1.5k, and double that gets you a 2008 example with 100,000 miles on it. Timing chain tensioner issues are known on these, as well as turbo and suspension issues in the car's older years. The EGR valve and DPF are also known as the source of people's issues, particularly in underdriven examples. It actually couldn't be a cheap luxury car video without including the class leader, the S-Class. The W221 Mercedes S-Class and S320 CDI spec specifically was so far ahead of its time. Rain sensing wipers, automatic climate control, heated ventilated electric seats, airmatic suspension, hydropneumatic body control, self-closing doors and boot, and a whole bunch of other features I could just keep on going. All pretty crazy for a car that was released in 2006. Put Apple CarPlay in one, you've basically got an ideal modern car. They come with a 3-litre V6 turbo diesel engine that makes 227 brake horsepower, taking the car to 60 in 7.3 seconds. Not bad for one of the lesser engine options, and plenty of performance for wafting around in, hence these were popular executive taxis. 2.5k is the lowest that I could find listed for, and 3k is enough for 2007 model that's done around 75,000 miles. Given all the tech available on these, it's only right that electrical issues are the most common I could find on forums. Fuel injectors can also cause problems, and the worst cases I saw owners suffering from stretched timing chains, and another common issue is the air suspension going. Taking the top spot purely because it's the quickest car on this list is this, the Lexus GS 300. I'm a big fan of the 450h, one of the best cars money can buy in my opinion, and while the 300 isn't quite as economical, it does benefit from something pretty cool, the success of the 2JZ engine. That's a 3-litre V6 engine to be exact, putting out 246 brake horsepower, taking to 60 in 7 seconds, so it's a non-turbo successor but still pretty cool. And it still benefits from many of the other interior luxuries that the 450h got, so outside of the fuel bills you are laughing, and you won't suffer the potential battery replacement costs as it isn't a hybrid. If you want me to spend around 2.2k, within our £3,000 price range you'll be looking at a 2006 example that's done pretty high mileage. Water ingress into the boot and failing shock absorbers are the two key topics I could find on forums. Outside of that, the engine is known to be pretty reliable and very well known too, which helps servicing, repairs and replacement parts. So now that you've seen all 10 of those cars, you click on screen to see my review of a slightly more expensive luxury car. Thanks to the patrons for their support, and to you as well for watching. I'll see you in the next one.